Was that 20-ish years ago where we used to see each other like almost every day, more regularly?
Yes.
20 years ago. That's so crazy. I was 21. You were?
27? 28, I think, yeah.
Grabe. We
Yeah.
used to work together ni Bam in a morning show on Studio 23 called Breakfast. And then you also were with us a lot in Why Speak,
That's
which
right.
was a youth debate show.
Yes, I was like, parang nag-start akong correspondent.
Yeah.
Nag-end up ako parang, was it a judge? Or para nag-comment
A
ka
wise
after?
speaker.
The
ganyan.
wise speaker. Yeah.
Yes. Hello, supers! Welcome to Paano Ba To The Podcast, created and hosted by me, Bianca Gonzalez. As you saw today on Paano Ba To, we have Senator Bam Aquino. This episode is actually a reissue. It is something we released over a year ago, I think, when Bam and his team reached out to me to guest on the podcast. And at that time, he was only starting his campaign plans. But I can say with certainty that as far back as I have known Bam, he has always had the heart of a servant leader. That I know for sure. Mula college pa lang, yun na talaga si Bam. And so seeing him be number 12, 14, 15, 18 on the surveys, but finally on election day, coming out as the number 2 top senator is such a feat. It says so much about how the millennials, the Gen Z have voted, and it gives me so much hope, of course, for the country. Yes, I'm wearing pink today for this new intro for this episode, but I wanted to re-release this episode because in this conversation, we talk about the ups and downs of life, how things do not go according to our plan, but I guess what is always destined for us happens. What's important is that we have that moral compass and that core value in us that tells us, do I step up? Do I step down? Do I step back? And I really, really hope that you are as inspired by this episode as I am. So let's get right to it. I wanted to rewind to like college days because a lot of the people who listen to Paano Ba To are either in college, on their first job, second job, more that era of their life. And a lot of the letters I get and messages I get are still about how do I know if I'm on the right path, ganyan. Yung timeline, they feel like napag-iiwanan ng iba. Some
Yeah.
people are ahead and they feel left behind, parang ganyan. And so that's why with you, I really wanted to talk about how do you know when the time is right? Kasi from my perspective, seeing your whole career, even college, di ba, until now, parang timing has played a huge part.
Huge role. When to step back, when to step up.
Yes. Ganda nun. Step back and step up. I think I first heard of you because nga you're my brother's older
No,
batch
we're
than
the
you.
same batch.
Okay, you're the same batch as my brother in college. And then when you ran for student council president, parang that's the first time
Oh
I
my gosh.
heard of your name. Yes.
That's 1998.
Grabe.
A long time ago.
And what I was curious was, syempre at the time, because of your family name, was it pressure
No.
that made you run or you really wanted to run? Nasa dugo mo talaga.
I
ganon?
really wanted to run. No pressure at all. In fact, yung pagpasok sa politika is really all my own doing. So lahat no kasalanan ko rin. My parents
Ginusto mo.
Oh, my parents never really talked about it.
Yeah.
They never forced me into it. In fact, when I was in my 20s, during the breakfast time, I had like a government post, yung National Youth Commission. If you
Yes,
remember,
that's
diba?
right, of course.
But running kasi is a different animal. Yung pumasok ko talaga sa politics, diba? It's a
Yeah.
different animal. And I would always say when I was in my 20s, you don't need to run for public office to serve.
Yes.
You can
or
do
to
it,
make a difference.
Exactly.
Ganyan.
You can do it in
Oo.
so many ways.
Yeah.
Pero after breakfast, I had that time in social enterprise.
Yes.
The Happy Noy program. I don't know
Yes,
if you
of
remember,
course,
with
of
Rags to Riches,
course.
di ba?
Yes.
And during that time, we had a lot of work in poor communities. Si Rags to Riches was based in Payatas. Happy Noy, which worked with Sari-Sari stores, was based in
Correct.
South Luzon and Bicol. And, I was so happy doing that work. Para siyang social development work.
Yes.
Hindi pa uso yung term na social enterprise nung time na yon. Parang that was the time na uuso siya. And after like 6 years, I had a conversation with mga mentors. And they said, alam mo, yung ginagawa natin will always just be in 1 or 2 provinces unless someone in government understands what we're doing. So why don't you go and run? And that was really the only time na naisip ko to go to the dark side, to go to politics talaga and to run. So I think the timing issue there was because I felt I was ready because I had worked in these communities.
Yeah.
And hindi yun short. It's like 6 years, really spending time with sari-sari store owners, small business owners, talagang, the majority of Filipinos work in these types of businesses, di ba?
Yes.
And nakita ko talaga ano yung kailangan gawin para yung pamilya gumanda yung kita, para yung anak makapag-aral. And it was only then when I felt na may kay na ako to join politics. So, I had actually resisted the political thing for a long time.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, nung pagdating ko sa 30s ko, parang I felt the only way to really bring all of these good things to a bigger audience or to scale was to go into politics.
Yeah.
So timing rin talaga, I think.
Right. I do remember that because when we were working together, parang feeling ko nga it was already a hindi man inside joke, but inside usap-usapan na eventually you'll also end up in politics. Parang may ganon. But in college, you took up management engineering.
Yes.
So ME, which is one of the hardest, if not the hardest course in our alma mater.
Lot of math.
Sa Ateneo.
Maraming math.
Ano yung dream? Bakit ME?
No, actually I joined ME because my friends were going to ME. So wala siyang
hindi siya kakabit ng future career.
No,
ganon.
not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. So yung barkada ko.
Ang hirap naman pakisamahan ng barkada, honor scores, hindi man lang parang tambay-tambay or sports,
No.
talaga ME.
I know. On the contrary, I don't know why my friends wanted to go to ME.
Yeah.
I really didn't have a preference.
Yeah.
In fact, ako nga, I was thinking dapat mag-coms ako di ba? Because I was always inclined to be in media or communicate and all of these things. But in the end, yung barkada ko nag-ME, okay, I guess ME it is, di ba?
Yeah.
And I actually wanted to shift out of ME a few times.
Okay.
But I stuck it out. And in the end, I didn't regret it kasi the course itself is a good foundation for different things. Like you don't only go to business or you don't only go to corporate kung mag-ME ka.
Yeah.
You can go to many different things. And I think through the years, some people went to government, some people went to law, some people nagnegosyo. Iba-iba eh.
Yeah.
So it can really be a good foundation. But walang planning yon. Ano lang yun? Let's just go where my friends are going.
Right. So tama ba TV and the social enterprise was at the same time-ish?
No.
What came right after college?
I worked for ABS-CBN Foundation. That was my first job.
You did?
Yes. Ang boss ko, si Gina, Ma'am Gina. May her soul rest in peace.
Yes, Ma'am Gina Lopez, the reason there's a ABS-CBN Foundation.
Yes. I learned a lot from her. I was assigned to help with the volunteers for the disaster relief, for Bantay Kalikasan, and for Bantay Bata.
Okay.
So parang ako yung naging volunteer manager ng ABS-CBN Foundation.
So admin work, ganyan?
No, it was working with young people, convincing them to volunteer.
Operations, ganyan.
I guess may pag-operations.
Okay.
May time na pupunta kami sa Bahaf to give relief goods kasi remember during that time si ABS-CBN kapag may disaster isa sa pinakauna, di ba?
Yes, and this was pre-social media, so it was really more media outfits and government that would help.
Yes.
Bago pa yun ng bayanihan era ng Twitter di ba?
Yes. But even then you'd get a lot of walk-ins who just want to volunteer.
Right.
And then you'd be deploying them dito yung baha or mag-pack ng goods, di ba? So, that was my first job.
Okay.
And a lot of my friends went corporate. Kaya nafe-feel ko yung people are earning so much more. Tapos ikaw medyo NGO foundation sweldo ka. But, I mean, you make your choices, di ba? Ganun talaga. I was there for a year and then pumasok akong law school.
That's right.
And law school wasn't for me. I dropped out of law school, actually.
How long did you?
3 semesters.
That's like a year.
A year and a half.
Wow.
It wasn't for me. Maybe also because I think I went to Ateneo Law. And sa Ateneo Law kasi at that time, I don't know now at that time, parang yung expectation sa'yo, you're a full-time student. And in other schools like UP, you could be a part-time student, diba? You could be working. And I'd already worked. So I really wanted to work. I really wanted to do something more than just be a student.
Yeah.
So hindi talaga ako masaya nung nasa law school ako. Kasi expectation nila sa'yo, estudyante ka, period, diba?
Yeah.
And shortly after that, nag-EDSA DOS.
Okay,
so this is like 20 plus years ago.
Right.
And I was one of the youth leaders who organized that. No? And soon after, na-appoint ako sa National Youth Commission. And that's when I left
the
law school.
timeline.
Yeah.
Okay. I never realized that you dropped out of law school. Yeah, which syempre, if anyone who is listening to this who can relate, who is in school and sort of wants to drop out but has no idea kasi there's that feeling na sayang, nandito na, or kailangan panindigan kasi na-start ko na. I mean, how did, again, timing, or how did that decision come to you?
It just wasn't for me. Tsaka ano to like, at this point, I was already paying for my own tuition. So wala ako, di ba, parang, nahiya ka sa magulang mo kasi they're paying for your tuition, di ba? At this point in my life, I had worked, nakapag-ipon na ako, and I told my parents, I'm gonna pay my way. I'm not gonna get money from them anymore. So ako rin nagbabayad ng tuition. So I felt, ako nagbabayad so decision ko na rin to. And when the opportunity to both go into government and go on TV came within siguro 2 weeks apart.
Okay.
Yeah, I said, di ko to kaya physically na ipagsabay-sabay. Because the morning show in the morning, and then you had your government job with the youth, and then gabi yung classes mo.
Yeah.
Hindi kaya.
Correct,
Hindi siya physically possible, di ba? I tried it for a few weeks. Eventually, sabi ko, I have to give up something.
Yeah.
And what's in my heart, it was really to serve. And I was enjoying. So, wala sa puso ko talaga yung pagiging sa media.
Yeah.
But I was enjoying it a lot.
Yeah.
I was with your brother and with you eventually.
Yeah.
So many great people and such a nice experience. You learned so much.
Yeah.
But working in the National Youth Commission was also very fulfilling for me. So kumbaga, parang mas dito yung calling ko kesa sa law school at maging abogado. So I had to give up something, and that's what I gave up.
I'm so curious because the TV work, and then you said that the National Youth Commission opportunity came around the same time. And parang now, at this point in my life, I look back and realize na, I guess, opportunities that came my way because you attract it somehow because of either manifesting or like your energy or what you want to do, intention, ganyan. Parang kasi hindi coincidence yun that nangyari yan sabay. What do you think you were doing at that time or prior to that attracted those kinds of opportunities na malayo dun sa original mong ginagawa?
It was being in the youth movement and being a youth leader, organizing.
Yeah.
So, as in, at that time, youth organizer ako. I'd go to schools, I'd convince the student councils and other students to join different causes, different advocacies. I remember there was a time, nagbarko pa ako, I joined yung, hindi naman ako Youth for Christ, pero sumama ako sa kanila to convince them to volunteer for NAMFREL.
Okay.
Like hardcore stuff, di ba?
Yeah.
And because of that work, na-appoint ako sa gobyerno, one. But secondly is, there was one rally, I went down the stage, and our friend Noel Ferrer was there, who at the time was putting together a morning show.
Oh, okay.
And he said, would you want to go on TV? And syempre, parang, who's this person talking? Sino to,
you
diba?
didn't know him prior to that?
As in stranger.
Okay.
Then sabi niya, I used to be OSA of Ateneo, which he used to be, diba? I go, okay, I know your brother.
Sorry,
kasi
OSA is?
Office of Student Affairs.
Okay, that's right.
Oo. So sabi, I used to be OSA of Ateneo, and I think nakasabay ko yung brothers mo. So he checked out. And then he said, why don't you go to, I forgot what office it was pa.
Okay.
But that's when I saw Ria Tanwatco, your brother, Angel. But your brother was already on TV. He was on the first version of Breakfast. So kami yung second version. So you're right, no? The work with the youth, being a student leader, sort of attracted all of these opportunities. and go lang.
So to those, kasi ngayon the generation na parang don't even know what the concept of a morning show is. The morning show before, it's what you keep on the TV while you're getting ready for school or work. So maririnig mo yung news, you'll hear interviews, and for sure 5 years of doing that also expanded your network.
It did. And the training. Kasi if you remember on Breakfast, wala naman tayong script. Diba? You're kind of on your own.
Yeah.
In fact, we used to do our own pre-interviews, diba? So may cue card ka, bullet points lang yon. So you have to think on your feet. Kailangan mabilis ka. I was handling current affairs, news and current affairs. So I was talking to politicians. We were tackling really important issues. So magandang training ground siya.
Yeah.
No? But by my 5th year, ako na yung Kuya Germs. The joke was si Bam na yung Kuya Germs of Breakfast.
Because it was in Atom Araulio.
Yes, Patty Laurel.
Yes.
And some other younger people pa ata. So I was, although looking back, hindi naman ganun katanda yung 27.
Super. Guys, if there's anyone listening to this who's 27, you are so not old.
Exactly. But at that time, starting at 22 and ending up at 27, parang it was really time to move on. Or hindi na ako bagay sa ganong klaseng show because it was a youth show, diba? So I moved out of Breakfast and I ended my term in government also in the same year.
What? Really?
2005.
Okay. How long was it was 5 years also the NYC post?
Practically 4 years, 4.5 years. So I think I think I ended NYC early 2006.
Okay.
And then si Breakfast late 2005.
Yeah.
So by 2006, I was jobless. Diba? And ano na naman, time for a change of career na naman, diba? And I was like, ano gagawin ko sa buhay ko?
Yeah.
It's like starting again.
Right.
And at that time, one of my best friends, si Mark Ruiz.
Who you are partners with in Rags to Riches.
And Happy Noy.
And Happy Noy, yes.
At that time, si Reese, who you know as well, was, I think, student pa during time na yon. Of course, eventually she's now the one running it, diba?
I think graduating, 2006, yes.
And married to Mark,
yes.
Diba? But at that time, we were starting out and we were in the middle, Mark was in the middle of his career sa Unilever. And he said, alam mo pare, there's something missing dito sa bansa natin, which is how can we create an organization na tumutulong ka but you're not using charity, you're actually using business to help people improve, na umangat sila, diba? And that was the beginning of the social enterprise movement. So we also sort of parang we caught that wave.
Yes,
all over the world it was happening.
Correct.
You had si Oprah was talking about Muhammad Yunus in Bangladesh and all of these new models. And parang in the Philippines, we are one of the pioneers for that.
Right.
So it was a big leap kasi it was not something that was parang something I had studied.
Yes.
But Mark brought a lot of the business sense and I was bringing the organizing sense kasi at the end of the day in social enterprise, kailangan mo i-organize yung community.
Yes.
So kami nag-partner, we got a couple of great mentors with us, people who were older than us but they became our board. And that became the next 6 years. And it was such a big risk kasi we were starting new. Parang nagsimula kami ulit.
Right.
And Mark was bossing na siya sa Unilever. I was already head of the National Youth Commission. And there we were. We would share like a little small cup of coffee sa Starbucks para hindi kami paalisin ng gwardiya. Sino yung office namin? The Starbucks sa Green Hills.
Okay.
Yung katabi ng Chili's.
Okay, yeah.
That one, di ba?
Yeah, the classic one.
Is that that's not Annapolis. Connecticut. That's our office for the first 3 months.
Yeah.
Until we were able to afford an actual office.
Right.
And that's how we started Happy Noy.
Yeah.
After a few months, Rags to Riches.
Yeah.
And they're still alive until now.
Yes.
So,
imagine.
nagtagal. I mean, I nag-iba-iba na yung mga personnel and people. Of course, Mark and Reese are still there.
Yeah.
And they're able to grow it and sustain it and help the people that they've been helping.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, I was curious to know, a lot of people, actually, very close to home to, a lot of people parang find themselves, okay, they're doing work that they like, and then boom, something happens that's out of their control that they have to start from scratch.
Yep.
What? I guess paano kaya mahanap ng taong yun yung next step? Usually it's that first step that's the hardest to find or to make. What, I guess, is your advice to find that?
have the right wife and or husband to help you out.
Pero you weren't married. Were you married na noon?
No. Well, kasi nga, alam mo ano ako eh. There have been many times that I had to start again.
Even
in
recent years.
Yeah. I mean, leaving the Senate in 2019.
Right.
But siguro rewind muna. When you're in your 20s, sana you have that opportunity to explore. Sana, no? If you're lucky, if you're blessed that you have that opportunity to explore, go and do it. Kasi ano siya eh, that time only comes, it's very short actually. No, parang our 20s go by so quickly.
Yes.
And that's the best time to figure out ano ba talaga yung gusto ko talagang gawin, ano ba yung malapit sa puso ko, ano ba yung magaling ako enough na pwede kong pagkakitaan, di ba? All of those things, you can figure it out. Sana you figure it out in your 20s. Kasi when you're in your 30s and you're gonna get married na, you're gonna have more responsibilities. Like in my case, I have kids and aging parents. So, ano yun? Siyempre, that's a strain on your resources as well. Sana at that point, alam mo na yun.
Yeah.
Diba? But when you're in your 20s, go and figure it out. A lot of Gen Zers now, I think, mas tanggap nila yun eh. That they're, I think the Gen Xers sort of had the idea that you could be married to your job, na lifer ka.
Yes.
I'm not sure about the millennials.
No, I consider myself, so I'm, for everyone's information, I'm 1983 and on paper, it's millennial. But I really identify more with Gen X. Super. That's why, dun ako sa Zennial. Yun, di umano, ang 1979 to 1984.
Okay.
Yung parang middle of, kasi ang laki ng difference ng Gen X and millennial eh.
Yes.
So there's a middle, Zennial. So yun
Zennial.
like
My wife is also a Zennial, 83 rin siya.
There.
Yeah. So, when you're in your 30s and may mag-asawa ka na, may anak ka na, then, these realities come in na, okay, maybe I don't have as many options to do this and that,
Yeah.
diba?
Or less risk appetite.
Yes. So sana magawa mo yun in your 20s. And in my case, nakapag-media ako, nakapag-gobyerno ako, nakapag-social enterprise pa ako, and I was blessed to be able to have opportunities for all of those and do well.
Yeah.
Do well. Like, wala akong iniwan na I felt hindi naman maayos yung naiwan ko. Parang it was just time to do something else.
Right.
In my 30s, of course, the opportunity to go into politics was there. And ang kasabay naman nun was getting married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, si Timmy, my wife, I met her when I was still in the National Youth Commission. So, she was a delegate of one of our exchange programs. Yung SEAP.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with
Ship for
SEAP.
Southeast Asian Youth Program. So, she was the 2003 delegate. Hindi ko siya niligawan kasi bawal. Pero the year later, nag-volunteer na siya. Because parang the year after, they volunteer for the previous year's program.
Yeah.
Doon ko siya niligawan, di ba?
Yeah.
Nung hindi na siya delegate.
Correct.
And matagal kaming together. Nag-LDR pa kami for a year. And then when I proposed and she said yes, buti na lang. And I got married. We got married September.
Of what year?
2012.
Okay.
So we got married September 15, 2012. October 1 was filing.
What?
Yeah.
Grabe naman.
So yun yung magkasabay.
It comes in twos for you, ha?
May pairing siya, di ba? And honestly, it's the best decision of my life to have a stable and loving partner going into something as
That's
difficult as
crazy.
politics.
Yeah.
No? So pinag-usapan namin yan. Sabi ko, do you wanna get married? So I proposed January 2012. Sabi ko, usually diba, at that time, mga 1 year yun, di ba? We wanna get married after the elections. It might be a really masayang wedding or really sad wedding, but at least
May time.
settled na, di ba? Sabi niya, teka, magka-campaign trail ka na single? Parang ayoko yun ha. Sabi niya ganyan.
Ay, fairness.
So, let's do this.
Maybe that's so smart.
Sabi niya, let's do this. So, we got married in September. So, campaign time, nanalo in May. And one of the best decisions we did was sabi niya, she's actually very talented in her career. She's now like general manager of one of these big companies. Very corporate yung career niya. And we agreed na she would continue her career. Kasi that's not common for politicians' wives, especially senators' wives.
Yes, yes.
It's not common that you continue working. Usually, whether you're the husband or the wife, you help out, di ba? And in our case, because we were young at that time, we were in our 30s. I think she was like 29, I was 35. Nag-agree kami na she will continue her career and she has flourished there, and I will continue my career in politics because kailangan ng stable sa aming dalawa. Para sa aming pamilya, kung may mangyaring magulo or hindi maganda, at least one of us siguradong stable yung pamilya namin. And I was telling her, the best, panangga ko sa corruption, the temptation of any of these things, because it comes very, very easily in politics, is the fact that I know kahit bukas matanggal ako sa politika, yung pamilya ko is okay. We will have food to eat. My children will go to school because she has a stable job. And that's been our setup. And her wanting to be in the corporate world has led to a lot of stability in our lives kahit sobrang gulo ng politika.
Yeah. It's a good balance and a good complement to each other, I guess.
Yeah, and I told her naman, I asked her, is this what you want to do? And she said, yeah. I'm good at it. She's really good at what she does. So she started out parang special program for marketing, and then eventually naging brand manager. Then she became vice president for marketing. Now she's running her own brand. Diba? So she's doing really well, and I'm really happy. Kaya yung tanong mo kanina about making these choices, having a really stable partner is really important. Kasi the decision to step back from politics, to go back into politics, or even to be campaign manager ni Lenny, you can't do that by yourself. You have to consult your partner. Kailangan solid kayo sa mga decision na yan. Diba?
Yes. So you ran in 2013. That was the first term.
Yes.
As senator. You said kanina na parang it felt like the time was right.
Yes.
What?
It was also a different time in our history.
Very, very different, yes. But what does it feels right and I feel prepared look like?
Well, okay. So dalawa yan. One was prepared ako sa sarili ko. Meaning I felt I had the capacity to serve and to contribute. No? Because ako, for me, yung mga tumatakbo, tapos wala namang plano, wala namang gustong gawin, they just wanna sit, gusto lang makaupo, gusto lang magka-posisyon, you're really wasting people's time. Diba? You're wasting resources. So, when I ran, parang I knew what I wanted to do. And yung nakita namin noon, having worked in poor communities, was meron namang pwedeng gawin para itong buong komunidad can really move out of poverty. There are programs that you can do. There are interventions that you can do. But di mo siya nakikita at the biggest scale. Kasi hindi siya program ng gobyerno, hindi siya batas, di ba? So when I ran, first sa sarili ko, I had to parang conscience check. Kung manalo ka, may contribute ka ba talaga? Meron ka ba talagang maiaambag? And at that time, I felt meron. No, so I said, okay, check. Second is, kaya ko bang manalo? Is there enough support? And of course, during that time, si Pinoy was president. A lot of the youth groups were organizing, and there was may desire to see new faces in politics. So I ran, I won, buti na lang. Difficult campaign, not as easy as people thought. It's quite difficult. And hit the ground running. Like, you passed different laws. Of course, by the second half of my term, Duterte time na yun, things really changed again. So, nagbago from being part of the administration, nasa opposition ka na. And, but by that time, we had passed already the Free College Act. Which,
that's the tertiary bill. Yes.
Which, when I'm long gone, I think that law will still be there, di ba? So, parang kahit papaano, you have one law that was really able to help so many people, even though we passed like 50 laws. Iba-iba mga batas. So, going into 2018, the decision to run again was there. And this time kasi, ikaw yung target kasi I had the highest votes for the opposition in 2019. I didn't make it.
That's correct.
Yeah, but I had the highest votes on the other side. So, hirap rin nun. Natawag akong terorista, nakasuhan ako ng sedition.
I saw that. That was so crazy, which was all dropped, by the way.
At one point, I was the most trolled Filipino for a good 4 months during that campaign time.
Yeah.
So niloloko ko lagi si Lenny. Oh, ma'am ha, for 4 months na ako yung most trolled Filipino, hindi ikaw. So you had to go through all of that.
Yeah.
Getting charged and, of course, the possibility of going to jail for made-up charges, di ba?
It's real.
It's real. And kakabahan ka. Kahit sino ka, kakabahan ka talaga.
Yeah.
But I think those last 3 years, doon ko rin nakita, okay, yung capacity ko to serve, it's not just because I have great ideas, pero actually kaya kong lumaban eh.
Yeah.
You found that inner strength.
Right.
Your spouse is important, your family is important, but honestly, dyan rin papasok yung faith.
Yeah.
When these difficulties come.
Yeah.
Because it's not all like people think about politics na, oh, you're famous, you're may nagpapa-selfie sa'yo, or you're on YouTube, or, people are nice to you pagbasok mo sa mga building. Hello, Senator, di ba, ganyan.
VIP ka, you have power, ganyan.
I mean, there's that. That's there, obviously. Pero sometimes you have to make decisions na unpopular. Sometimes you have to go against policies na hindi maganda para sa bayan, and you suffer for it.
Yeah.
And that's just, if you want to be a leader, if you put yourself out there, kasama yun.
Yeah.
Noong time na yon, trolling was kind of new. So, ngayon kasi medyo mas maalam na tayo eh.
Yeah.
We know that there's fake news. We know that there are trolls. At that time, pag may nabasa ka, apektado ka talaga eh.
Right.
Diba? And
Super.
suddenly, you feel your world is so small na parang, oh my gosh, everybody pala thinks this way. It's not true. Later on, you'd find out it's manipulated.
Right.
Diba? But at that time, you're like, am I doing something wrong? Bakit ganito yung pakiramdam ng mga tao? And dyan papasok yung then your decisions to go on become even more difficult.
Right.
No? So the decision to run again in 2019 was more difficult than the decision to run to begin with in 2013.
Yeah.
Because my dad, who's matagal ng campaign manager ni Tita Cory and all of these things, he goes, son, kung tatakbo ka in 2019, you're not gonna win. Sabi niya sa akin, you're not gonna win. President Duterte is too strong. This trolling thing, nobody has a hand. Walang nakakatapat at that time.
Yeah.
Of course, later on, kaya nating tumapat, but at that time, walang tumatapat. And I thought at that time, kung wala naman tatakbo, I was the incumbent. Kung walang tatakbo from this side of the political world, para nag-give up na tayong lahat.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah.
And I was the strongest candidate to win at that time. And I lost by 0.2%. Pero no regrets about making that decision. Parang suicide mission siya.
I get it, yeah.
But somebody had to do it, diba? We did everything we could. Fell short, like 0.2%. I don't think that's ever happened before. Of course, later on, hindi ko na sasabihin yung mga later on. But anyway, after 2019, ano ka na? O sige.
Yeah.
Ayaw nyo? Okay, private citizen tayo. Okay na.
Yeah.
So I set up na a new office. I actually set up office in the Happy Noy office again. I called up Mark. I'm like, hey, I'm back. Can you give me space dyan sa ground floor? Sure. So I set up an office there. I was doing work with microfinance institutions. I was looking forward to working in communities again. Kasi doon ako nagsimula eh.
Yes.
Working with the nanays and tatays in the sari-sari stores, the karinderias, the SMEs with Go Negosyo. So I was going back there and saying, okay, maybe hindi to gusto ni Lord na magpolitika tayo.
For context for everyone, that means going back to that because Senate work is really law work, legislation work, meaning paperwork.
It's
Studying. So more that than on ground. Yes.
Which I missed
as
a senator. No? So, okay na yon. And then nagpandemya. Like within a few months.
That's right.
And the world shut down. And okay, at that time, even though I was stuck at home, Kaya Natin, which is one of the organizations I was chairman of, was one of the first organizations that delivered PPEs and masks and support for doctors and nurses. I think we raised like 70 million pesos nung time na yon to help all of the frontliners. So suddenly, may role ulit ang, di ba? I mean, hindi ko siya hinahanap, but we had the infrastructure to get this done kasi we had partners all over the place. Of course, we were partnered with at that time, the Office of the Vice President ni Lenny. So, suddenly you're back into things. And the next thing I know, magda 2022 na. Okay, and that's another major decision point because A lot of us wanted Vice President Leni to run. She was hesitant. She said, bakit ako? Hindi naman ako yung pinaka-popular. In fact, I'm so unpopular. We should be looking for somebody else. No? And that was a journey. We talked to so many possible politicians. But on my end, I promised my team na kung mag-ranking tayo sa survey, we would go for it again.
You would run for Senate again.
Yes, in 2022.
I remember this.
Yeah. And I hit 9 in the survey right before filing. 9's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, for somebody na hindi part of the administration, that's pretty good. So, okay, ready na kami. Yung team, excited na.
Yeah.
But then, at some point, Leni decides to run. And then she says, Sen, because I ran her campaign by the way, in 2016 for Vice President. So she says, Sen, hindi ko to gagawin kung di kita kasama as campaign manager.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, sure. So for 4 days, I was like, I'm gonna run for senator and run her campaign. Okay.
Suicide mission na naman.
Kasi akala ko Superman ako, di ba? And then, yung nanay at tatay ko din kumausap sa akin. Sabi nila, hindi fair yan. Hindi yan fair kay Leni, hindi rin yan fair sa'yo at sa mga supporters mo.
Yeah.
They would want you to focus.
Correct.
Because at some point, you're gonna give up one for the other. And it's just not feasible. Hindi siya possible.
Hindi na naman siya physically possible, for sure.
Okay, though Senator Cheese did that though.
Oh, really?
For FPJ. He ran for the Senate and was the campaign manager.
I didn't know
But
that.
of course, FPJ didn't make it, diba? So, parang the likelihood na both of you will win is very, very unlikely.
Right.
So kinausap ako ng magulang ko, when you're in your 40s at kinakausap ka ng magulang mo, medyo alam mo seryoso na yun, di ba?
Correct.
Serious yun. And of course, I talked to Timmy and she's like, well, what's in your heart?
Yeah.
And I said, alam mo, I think this time it's time to step back and let's just support Leni. So, nag-full-time ako as her campaign manager.
Yeah.
And even though we didn't get what we wanted, it was historic. I mean, nobody expected that kind of campaign. So no regrets. Absolutely no regrets. In fact, nag-mini reunion kami like a few days ago. And I addressed like the team. Because there's a movie, by the way, about the campaign.
Yes, that's right. The documentary.
Yes. And we had a pre-screening. And si Ma'am Leni just invited the campaign team.
Yeah.
So, syempre, mixed emotions from seeing the clips, diba? And they asked me to speak. And I said, alam mo, even though we didn't get what we wanted, I wouldn't change my decision to go full-time. Kasi that campaign, I think maraming nabuhayan with that campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, coming from years of being quiet, years of being afraid, and parang the campaign showed na there's a significant number of Filipinos who want something better and who are willing to go out.
Yeah.
Diba? So, no regrets. And timing. It was not my time to be in the front. It was my time to be in the back.
Yeah.
And support Leni, diba?
Yeah.
So, yon, that's 2022. And here we are, 2025. Diba?
Grabe, no? What a timeline and what a journey nga of parang ups and downs siya eh. I wanted to ask you because you said nga na, aside from your parents talking to you, of course, and your wife, and those voices weighing in on your decision. Kasi when I read it, of course, my instinct was, this is such a selfless decision kasi you're doing it for something bigger than you, kumbaga. But I think you said something earlier na parang you listen to your gut or listen to your heart. Like, we always give that advice to young people, diba? Listen to your heart. Listen to what your gut is telling, to your instinct. Paano ginagawa yun? Like, how do you tune into that?
Honestly, ako prayer. Prayer. At the end of the day rin kasi, your faith will also help you not only make the decision, but live with your decision.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah.
Kasi your decisions may not always pan out eh. Posibleng hindi mo talaga makuha yung gusto mo eh. Pero kung from the start, malinaw na ginawa mo to kasi tingin mo ito yung tama, tingin mo ito yung nasa puso mo, then you're able to live with it.
Yeah.
Diba? So in 2019, the weekend before election day,
okay.
One of my cousins kasi pare So, nagpamisa siya. Okay. And during that mass, family and friends, may pumasok na thought sa akin, which was, whatever comes next is yours. With a capital Y. Okay, meaning whatever comes next, kay God to. Okay. And by Monday, I lost. Diba? I didn't think I would lose because I was polling actually within the 12 eh.
Yeah.
So medyo na-shock ako doon. But upon reflection, as in sinulat ko pa yun sa notebook ko eh. Whatever comes next is yours. I go, well, kung ito yung pumasok sa isipan ko, kung ano man mangyari kay Lord to, hindi lang yan sa pagkapanalo, pwede rin yan sa pagkatalo, di ba? And if I was still in the Senate in 2019 and in that whole gulo of the pandemic, I wouldn't have had the energy to run the campaign of VP Lenny.
Yeah.
Kasi, kumbaga parang, I feel that, di naman sa, you're just making sense of all of these things, but parang in my heart, everything that happened for a reason.
Yeah.
And making those decisions became easier kasi, your faith is there, di ba?
Yes.
Na things are gonna work out.
Yeah.
Your decisions, they're gonna work out for the best. So I think, taking that step back was the right decision.
Yeah.
And parang konektado lahat yan.
Yeah.
Diba? It all connects.
For sure. The dots always connect in the future, sabi nga nila. And now we come to 2025. Ito na yung step na, gets ko na. Like when I saw this, it's like, I get it. I get that the time is right. And for you, it also felt right, for sure.
So after the campaign, siyempre depressed ka, di ba? Di mo nakuha yung
ang
gusto
tagal
mo.
nating lolongkot.
Diba?
Sa totoo lang, yeah.
Sa totoo lang. And it's funny. After the campaign, so 2 stories. So one, right after the campaign, like within days, nakausap ko kasi si Lenny was voted in Naga. No? So she went back to Manila. It was Thursday. Thursday was the Ateneo rally, the Thanksgiving rally. So I saw her before then. First time ko magkita in person. We had just been talking on the phone. So sabi ko, ma'am, we didn't make it, ganyan. And she said, alam mo, Sen, people forget where we started. Nakakalimutan ng tao na in October of 2021, just a few months ago, we had nothing. Nobody wanted to support us. I didn't even think we could get 5% of the support we got by me. People forget where we started. And maybe things need more time. If we really want change, we need to work on it a little bit harder. So, yun, medyo malalim yun sa pag-iisip ko. After the campaign, and nag-usap kami ng, again, back to my loving wife, diba? So, usap kami. And she goes, I don't think, because the question there is, taking a step back, should we take a further step back na talagang dance na, di ba? Let's just do something else.
Which is not a bad life.
A good life, di ba? And, she could focus on her career. I'm still heavily involved sa startups and social enterprises. So, and masaya naman ako doon. And I think we were in, baka nasa Korea kami. I think height ng K-drama.
Ang cinematic naman nung setting.
Exactly. Hindi kasi pwede kayong mag-usap na walang nakakaintindi sa inyo, di ba? So, pwede kayong mag-usap. And she goes, alam mo, parang, baka hindi pa tayo ready to hang up our gloves, di ba? Parang, baka may isa pa tayo. And that was in my mind. And then last year, I was lucky to have a fellowship in the States for 4 months.
That's right.
Yeah, so I was in Yale for 4 months. And doon ko nakita, like I got perspective, which is sobrang ganda ng Pilipinas. We're so much better than where we think we are. Kasi I had classmates from countries where they had civil war. I had co-fellows from countries where they're on the verge of becoming autocratic. And yung mga magiging new leaders nila will disallow women from going to school, will disallow women from having work. Yung ganyang level of intensity yung mga problema nila. I had a co-fellow from Colombia and she was explaining how like 10-15 years back yung narco politics sa kanila was really integrated sa political situation nila. So, nakita ko, our country, compared to the rest of the world, is not, hindi tayo nasa, kumbaga, mas maraming mga bansa na mas maraming problema sa atin. Ang laki ng potential natin. But, hindi natin maabot-abot yung potential natin. Which kinda makes it more masakit.
Yeah.
Alam mo yun?
Yeah,
na parang,
I get that.
it's not nakawawa tayo, it's that magaling tayo pero hindi natin maabot yung totoong kagalingan natin. Di ba? And being outside, looking in, talking to a lot of Filipinos there abroad who had left the country, who want to go home, parang makikita mo na, hindi ka pa pwede mag-give up. You have to, there's that final step, that final transformation, that final renewal where we can actually, yung makakaangat talaga tayo.
Yeah.
Parang I still want to be part of that. I still want to contribute to that. And that became clear to me last year when I was finishing my term sa Yale. Na meron pa akong maiaambag. Hindi pa ubos, di ba? Meron pa akong may bibigay. So that led to deciding to run again this May.
Grabe, no? Amazing turn of events. And how, I guess, fitting that it was when you took a literal step back, meaning step away, big picture, when you were abroad, that you were able to see, uy, ito pala yung pwede kong gawin here again, now, moving forward.
And one other thing that parang got me refreshed also was so 2022, May yung eleksyon. By November, the youth groups were already organizing. So sila yung pinaka-unang sektor in the campaign na nag-organize na ulit. The Gen Xers and the boomers, the seniors, matagal yung hurting phase. Pero yung mga kabataan, by November, nagtatanong na, let's go, Sen, what's next? Ano yung next sa laban natin? And when I was in the States, almost every other day, may kausap akong volunteer. And they would drive from Washington, from Boston, kasi nasa Connecticut ako from New York. And we'd have coffee, magkakape kami. And they just share about the campaign and how they contributed. And they were always asking, so is that it? Tapos na ba to? O may susunod pa ba? And gosh, 30% of the Filipino people came out in that campaign during the most difficult time. May pandemya, the administration was all-powerful and honestly terrifying, di ba? Because of yung lakas nila, di ba? And yet lumabas yung mga tao. So you have to honor that. And in many ways, I think nandiyan pa rin yung nasa puso pa rin yan Kailangan lang ilabas ulit. So even though it's hard, we're preparing for next year.
And I think the time again is right because more people nga are ready. Just like when you first ran, di ba? Parang more people are ready for more kinds of leaders holding these positions. And so
I hope so. I hope so.
Pwede na. I think pwede na. Yeah. I'm hopeful. And if anything, talking to you now and hearing like everything that went into that decision makes me very hopeful. Kasi amin natin, nawala tayong hope for quite some time.
For a while.
For a while. And this makes me very, very hopeful. Hey, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Bianca.
For visiting here, for sharing your story. And to any 20-something listening to this, the road ahead is going to be full of twists and turns. But timing, hope.
And steady
will
ka
play.
lang.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And that is it for our episode. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, of course, Senator Bam Aquino, who I just call Bammy Whammy whenever we message each other. Kung sino siya noon, yun pa rin talaga siya ngayon. And thank you, of course, to Team Bam Aquino. Congratulations on this wonderful, inspiring campaign. And I really, really hope that you have your favorite takeaways from this episode. I would love to hear what you think. Paano ba to? The podcast is created and hosted by me, Bianca Gonzalez, with podcast producer Andy Caneri and edited by Paolo Halili. Like I said, if you have any favorite takeaways or parts, please do tag us on our social media. We are at Paano Ba To on Instagram, at Ask Paano Ba To on TikTok, and of course, we are also in our private Facebook group, the Paano Ba To Super Group. If in case you are still not following this episode and subscribing here, I would like to invite you na i-click ang follow button on Spotify or i-click ang subscribe button on YouTube. That would mean so much to me. So again, thank you so much for joining us this episode. Till our next one, stay supers!